very good. 2 community members. I think this is one of the matches we have where we don't have anyone that's super crazy high up, do we?
Yeah, not. I mean, I'm not sure I know these players. I don't think I do. So
I
think one of them is a local guy.
Yeah, I know Wingnut is. He's one of the guys that does community casting on small streams. I'm not sure which exact terms. I believe he does some of the Ascended StarCraft League stuff. He's one of the guys that I know. He works with a lot of the smaller community organizations. I don't know anything about the other player though.
Apparently, he's from Michigan. We know that much.
Yeah, so we got a local coming up here as we get ready for this series. But the players, as they get their PC set up, as they get ready to go, we actually did a little interview piece with Wingnut in preparation for his matches at Detroit, because we know that he's a guy that he's not on the big end of the spectrum as far as the community content goes, but he works hard a lot, and he's one of those guys that you can catch streaming quite often. So let's have a hear what he has to say.
I played StarCraft 1 when I was a kid, kind of dabbled in it, didn't really do anything serious with it, but when StarCraft 2 came out, I was obviously intrigued by it again. So installed it, started playing, and just got hooked on it. And because I ran this LAN group, StarCraft became the cornerstone of Sparty LAN Party in all of our events. And through hosting tournaments and stuff, we ended up at one point having the largest StarCraft tournament in Michigan, maybe even the Midwest, in 2010, I believe it was. Through middle school and high school, I was probably one of the more introverted, nerd-type kids playing video games and playing Magic after school with the 5 other kids that played Magic. It probably was one of the things that lended to being more introverted and not really wanting to put myself out there for fear of being criticized. As I grew up a little bit and got into StarCraft specifically, I played the game for quite a while and then started watching personalities like Day9, DJ Wheat, and all of them, and really enjoyed what they did, and it gave me a different aspect of the game besides just playing. Now, many, many years later, one of my favorite things to do is get in front of any size crowd, be it 2 people or 500,000 people, and talk about StarCraft. Casting has been really one of those things that's really gotten me comfortable with that, and now it's what I love to do. This is probably the single biggest deal that Redbull has come to Detroit here for Battlegrounds. So it's cool that they've taken a chance on the Midwest and Detroit specifically, because everybody sort of dogs Detroit all the time, but Detroit's actually really cool. So it's awesome that Redbull has come to Detroit. Hopefully it'll kind of light a fire under everybody in gaming, and more events like this will be able to happen in Michigan specifically. Aside from participating, and we like to go to these kind of events too, and we can't unless they're in our neighborhood. It's not every day a person like myself, who's not a professional player, can come in and throw down with these guys and hopefully have a pretty good match.
Yeah, it's always nice to hear from these guys. This is Wingnut getting ready for his match. His opponent, I actually have a really difficult time pronouncing his name.
Try it. Why don't you try it?
I think it's to be like Skirug? I don't know. We saw, okay, so according to the group, the group we graphically looked at is listed under Mexican flag, so I feel like my Slavic pronunciation is probably not doing it justice.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a Mexican name though. It doesn't sound like it at all.
I don't know what
sounds like Russian or some Skriug.
Yeah, you know? That's kind of what I was going for, but I don't quite know anything about him. You know, we talk in Wingnut, of course. Cool interview. He said he does a lot of casting. He's one of those guys that's very active with especially the lower rank, I said the amateur scene of StarCraft 2, because we talk all the time about the top players that are going to WCS, winning tournaments like Red Bull, but you oftentimes don't hear about the guys that are constantly grinding it out in the smaller community tournaments, and it's always cool to see them come up here. Skirug is Diamond League player. Why don't you try to pronounce it?
Skirug?
I can't.
We need to find a nickname for him, because it's gonna be difficult, man. Well, find him a nickname.
I think his shirt said Polska. No, I think he's Polish.
No? What?
I don't know. Yeah. Am I blind?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't help me pronouncing it though.
Why does he have a Mexican flag on Wikipedia? This guy is international.
Someone was having too much fun.
Let's
Edmundo, I could roll with that.
Let's call him Edmundo. That's not even really a simple nickname. There's nothing simple about this guy. He's probably like gonna play the sickest builds and strats.
Yeah, I want to know what he's gonna do. I've never actually seen Wingnut play. So aside from the fact that I don't know, and you see that we kind of looked at his profile, he doesn't really play a lot of 1v1. This could still be, even without a Hyun in this series, this could still be pretty one-sided as far as the skill between these two guys go.
Yeah, I tried to check their profile, and it appears Wingnut is gold in 1v1. He plays a lot of team games, and gold against diamonds probably going to be pretty difficult.
Hey man, if he's golden 2v2, I'm golden 2v2. All right, for all we know, he mightn't even realize his power in 1v1 matchups.
Who knows, man? Maybe I'll find out about them here. Make it to the top 16 or something.
It looks like he does play Protoss for 1v1, so anything can happen, Todd.
Oh, with Protoss, usually anything can happen, no matter what, no matter who.
Yeah, exactly.
The lower the league, the bigger the possibilities, Nate.
I won't argue with you there, Todd. It looks like we need to re-host the lobby. Okay, so we'll have this match set up as soon as possible for you guys. Hopefully you've all been having a good time. The crowd it's getting bigger and bigger. It's been really nice to have all you guys come out here today for the first day of Battlegrounds Detroit. Hope you're having fun.
I think they're having fun. Been hanging out down there a few times, met some cool people, some locals.
Yeah. Some guy actually, he wanted to show me his keyboard. He actually had like one of the old, the super old IBM keyboard, the one that weighs like it's the keyboard that's so. And not only is it was the first mechanical keyboard that a lot of people like, but it's also heavy enough to use as a melee weapon. If you were to get like a zombie apocalypse man, it's like some nerds like to talk about.
You watch too many TV shows, Nate.
Yeah, I won't argue with you there. So this series, so it looks like we're gonna have Protoss versus Zerg. We're gonna kick things off on King Sejong Station as we get the lobby set up. Todd, what do you think has been one of the more memorable moments from today from the games that you've seen?
I think all the fun strats that we saw, and what I also really enjoy is that we get to showcase, as Wingnut also mentioned it in his interview, all these players that usually you wouldn't see as much in most tournaments because, tournaments obviously they want to show the more popular players, the stars and all that, whereas here we really get to discover some of these players, not only in game and on the stage, but also with some of the interviews that Cam has been doing, the Stash himself. So it's been cool.
I thought his profile said Zerg. Okay, so he plays Terran. All right. Should be an interesting series, but you make
Diamond Terran against a gold Protoss, man. When talk about all the odds being against you here as Wingnut.
I believe in Wingnut's ability to potentially proxy an Oracle, and then anything truly can happen, Todd. But,
believe in the power of Protoss?
I believe in the power of Protoss. Oh, okay. Okay, I wasn't wrong. I think he picked the wrong race. We're gonna remake it. He's like, wait, I actually am a Zerg. I was looking at his profile. I'm like, is he really just gonna play Terran after what? All right, so this you made a good point though. I think there's definitely a skill difference between these two that maybe playing Protoss is not quite enough to shorten that gap. What do you like as a Protoss player when you're up against someone who's favored against you?
Who's favored against me?
Yeah, like if you were playing a Zerg player that...
There's no Zerg that's favored against me, Nate.
Is that because of your cannon rushes, or...?
No, I'm just kidding. Well, I feel like I have a solid style against Zerg that I don't need to do something special, especially against Zerg. It's really kind of set in stone, sort of what I have to do with a similar build and many transitions possible. That third base with a bunch of sentries, hallucination scouts, +2 blink. I think it's pretty good against pretty much everything. Sometimes you can mix it up and play a Stargate here and there to try and surprise, but Zergs these days have gotten so good against Stargate that we never see it. Yeah. Unless Trap is playing and gets his fast Oracle and somehow makes it work, like at MLG, but it was an exception.
You know what, I was actually wrong twice. He's going to play Protoss now.
Maybe he forgot to pick race.
No,
supposed to be random.
If he said that he forgot to pick his race again, maybe, then I'd actually be really confused. But we're loading into the game, guys. We got everything set up. We're going to kick off this next series between our Polish player, Skierog, and Wingnut. We are loaded in to King Sejong Station. And Todd, you should introduce the Red Protoss player.
All right, starting in the bottom right-hand side corner, we have Skierog
As long as you have to make an attempt at the pronunciation, he's...
I did it well. I said it well. Skrieg.
Okay. It's okay, Todd.
Stop hating.
His opponent in the top left, the blue Protoss, he is Wingnut. I don't know what the 5 LP clan is. Maybe it's like 5 ladder points because you're always favored.
Wow. That's deep, man.
That's all I got.
That's deep.
Both these guys are actually scouting after Pylon,
Yeah,
too.
and also, like, Wingnut went for
What if they
Pylon
both
as brand.
cannon rushed each other?
What if they both walled off thinking it's a team game, then realize it's PvP and you don't actually need to wall off? Skrieg is not walling off.
That'd be too deep, I think.
Who do you think is going to get more votes? The local hero or the guy who's in the higher league?
Oh man, I imagine, since people really like to be right, when they go to Redbull Battlegrounds.com to vote, they're probably going to vote for the person that we said was in the higher league. I like Wingnut because I know him. I've seen him around more. I know he does a lot of cool community content. But man, Skrieg, when you see that diamond border in the loading screen, it's intimidating.
Yeah. Who has the most extreme irrational gamer handle? And well, Skrieg is winning. Actually, that's not even how Skrieg is spelled. It's ZKRYUG, supposedly.
Wow.
Now it's like
So
Skrieg.
it's even impossible to just...
Yeah, even the production couldn't.
It's like we can't pronounce it, so you can't have a hard time spelling it, just trying to translate
He's
it.
like trying to log in every day, like, and he gets it wrong a few times. He's like, what is my password? Oh no, it was my ID. Wingnut's falling off, so it's not really gonna matter here because there is already a probe in his main, and you can mineral walk anyway.
He's not getting proxy gated,
unless he
right?
perfect walls himself in. And
What's up?
Imagine if he perfect walled himself
If he
in, and the probe would be stuck, and then it takes a hit.
I imagine that he would put his cybernetics core to block his only way out of his base just to kill a probe.
Yeah, it's very realistic actually, because you can recall probes out to a new base hidden on the map. Kappa.
Have fun trying to build probes after that. Your PvP analysis is truly next level, Johan. So what do you like then on King Sejong Station? What do you think we're gonna see out of these guys?
Anything's good really. Like Blink's pretty nice, but usually I feel like it's harder to commit on this map as far as aggression goes with Blink, because like most people, they will do solid builds against it. Like they're really gonna be able to expect it a lot. Stargate's nice. Expansion into Robor Stargate's nice. DTs can be good, especially if you hide them and your opponents somehow don't see them. And Wingnut's hiding a probe on the map, so I have to wonder, like, is he gonna hide something? So far, he's only getting Warp Gate and a Stalker, which is very standard still.
Well, I mean, Skrieg hasn't even started Warp Gate, and that has me at least mildly confused at this point. Would you say, are there any PvP strategies that you like where you don't get Warp Gate, Todd?
There, actually, you see, like, he gets the Robo. This reminds me of, you remember Tal'Darim Altar?
No.
Tal'Darim is like a very old school map from Wings of Liberty, where in PvP everybody forgated because there was no ramp, so you could get in very easily. And some people came up with this build where like you get a very quick Robo, a Zealot, and then you make Immortals. And so since Forgate is all about getting Stalkers, then you would barely try to hold with Zealots and Immortals, which in this case, he does start Warpgate very late, but having this quick Robo, if he thinks he's going to be rushed, he could make a bunch of Immortals. He could have just forgotten.
He sees the pylon that Wingnut's placed here, and since Wingnut is going for Blink, I think what you said is pretty reasonable. You definitely want something that can kill Stalkers. However, shutting down this pylon would be nice since he was able to kill the probe. And there's that first Immortal being chrono boosted out. I have to say, Todd, your knowledge of early game PvP aggression, I would not have called the fast Immortal rush with no Warp Gate.
I think Wingnut, he needs the Force Gateway, and also he wasn't mining his gases from his gases optimally. It was 1+2 or something, so now he's doing 2+3. Definitely needs to already go into 3+3. He's making the Mothership Core now, finally. Oh, that's cool. He's gonna proxy a pylon on the right-hand side, which, if you're not close enough, you're not gonna be able to find out about here as Skrieg, and you're also not gonna be able to hear. So if you don't know this is coming through there, and you're like just a little bit out of position, it's going to be very difficult to defend against a lot of Blink Stalkers, because like, I mean, right now this is all in. Even though Wingnut is getting more probes and could get a Nexus, he's at least committing so much to the Stalkers that he's going to need to do a lot of damage for this to be worth it.
Yeah, it's going to reach a very tricky situation if he loses too many of his stalkers, trying to put the pressure on when a potential immortal attack comes in.
He gets a forge. I think that's for in case there are DTs or something to get a cannon in his mineral line.
All right, sounds reasonable.
He needs to start
enough.
working on this
How many
debris.
immortals
Unless
are
he wants
there?
to just blink up there.
There's
Usually
only just one immortal. Is he building his third or his second one right now?
second one.
Okay. So he doesn't have a crazy amount of firepower, but there's not too many stalkers on the map, I think. Just, like, you only need 4 to start one-shotting probes, but if he brings in more than that, I imagine he'd be looking to actually pick off some tech or pylons, right?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, he would try to catch his opponents off guard with, like, hoping he's doing some very greedy build here and doesn't have much, which in this case, I mean, Skrieg, open, Immortal is going to have a second one here in a second and should be able to defend easily. Missed blink a little bit from Wingnut. Forgot some of his stalkers there. He's going to be able to get a one pylon and most likely get out of there after.
Not bad. Picks off pylons, he shut down the production just a little bit.
Really not bad.
Yeah, supply block Skirog. He supply blocked him.
Supply blocked him, but he needs to kill him or do a ton of damage.
Yeah.
You don't care about a supply block at this point. Like, if you have double Immortal, you see, like, he was supply blocked for a second. Now he starts his third Immortal. He used the photon overcharge, but he still has another one, so Skrieg is just going to be in a great position from there.
Yeah, I actually don't know how he got that pylon there, but...
He went around with the probe.
Yeah.
After he made the pylon on the right-hand side, he went through the middle of the map and back into the main.
Well, he's going to try to expand behind this.
And gets a Stargate as well. I guess knowing he's up against a Robo, getting the Stargate here. Double Stargate. Okay, so this is going to be Void Race.
Oh, boy.
When behind,
Double
against a
Void
Robo,
Race.
double Void Ray, man.
When behind, take to the skies.
If your
Boom.
opponent somehow turns on autopilot and doesn't scout, and you get like 6 Void Rays,
Yeah,
you can win.
I mean, Immortals are good, but last time I checked, they can't lean back and kill Void Rays out of the sky. So.
yes.
Well, I mean, I guess it also comes down to will he have time to get those Void Rays out? Because 3 Immortals, I think as a Protoss player, Johan, you can safely agree with me that Stalkers alone aren't going to cut it.
Yes, it's going to be difficult. He does have a photon overcharge. But I think this is going to hit hard here, and Skrieg, he might win the game with just that attack. He's getting another Immortal, he's getting more Stalkers, he's warping in units very continuously here, making sure it's...
Yeah, the first Void Ray is on the way. He's warping in some
farming.
Zealots, but he doesn't have enough gas yet to start the second Void Ray. He's actually going to start +1 attack instead, but that's not going to finish in time
Photon
to help
overcharge
against
is
this.
good, as I always say, but not that good that it will really help Stalkers win against that many Immortals. 44 army supply for Skrieg, 32 for Wingnut, who's going to see the army, but it's too late. Can he adjust? First Void Ray is not out yet. He needs to blink the Stalkers.
I mean, he force fielded the ramp. Of course, the Stalkers do still have that blink, as you mentioned, to jump around, but still really tricky.
He's down.
I mean, it gets the Mothership Core, but there's just, I mean, the Immortal firepower is just way too strong for these Stalkers, and I don't think he's got enough to stop this. That Nexus cannon is just letting loose. However, the Immortals with their hardened shields are hard to kill. There's the first Void Ray coming out, now prismatically aligns, and I guess he's going to focus down the Immortals with this Void Ray, but those Stalkers are still a big problem, now that the Nexus is dead especially.
Yeah, that Void Ray was trying to get a kill on the Immortal, but there's just going to be too much here for Skrieg. Very smart counter-attack. He knew he hadn't suffered any damage and he could finish the game with this. And GG, he's going to win the first game.
And Skrieg takes his first main stage game here at the Battlegrounds Detroit. I have to say that opener, Todd, I actually don't think I've ever seen anyone rush out an Immortal before Warp Gate. Is that going to become a thing now, Todd?
I doubt it, Nate.
Maybe on ladder, you know, no one's gonna run into it. Do the viewers at home need to worry about the Immortal Rush now?
No. I mean, it's only in certain situations. Like, I guess if you know that someone's gonna do something, but even then, like, it's not. It's
hard to be sure.
Yeah, it's not a solid build. Like, it's not even a cheese. It's just like a build you do to try and counter something specific. And which in this case, I mean, I'm not sure what he was expecting. I'm not sure if it's his go-to build. It's hard to say. I guess we'll find out in the next game if he does it again or not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Wingnut had a solid opening. It seemed that this is the kind of build that he probably plays around with a lot when he's either on ladder or, you know, just playing StarCraft for fun, against friends or customs. I think blink openings like that are pretty solid. But where exactly you think it just didn't kill enough with it to get himself an advantage versus the Robo opening?
You will need to kill a lot of probes, like get ahead economically. be getting an expansion at the same time. Like, you will need to achieve a lot. Like even if you don't win right there, you need to do a ton of like economic damage, I guess. And now like all the kill was a pylon, and then you said not bad, and I was like, what?
Well, I mean, you get something, right? In my infinite
Actually, I disagree. He got nothing.
in my infinite knowledge of PvP, Todd, as the only non-Protoss commentator here, it's my job to make incorrect calls like that. So
So you think you did a good job?
in that
Not
regard, I did a
bad.
fantastic job.
All right.
Overgrowth is going to be the second map, and this should be. I Zikrug is just Zikrug. I can't, dude. His name.
That was awful.
This is the most difficult name pronunciation I've ever had to do in StarCraft. So.
This guy's a mystery, man.
Yeah. We'll have to see what he's got in store. Definitely, he's the favorite going into this match, I think, just based off of what we were able to find out about them. But we're loaded into game number 2. And we have the GLHF with the heart coming out of the blue Protoss as we, of course, start up on our red Protoss in the top right. He is up 1-0. He is Skirek.
Actually, does Krieg sound Polish to you? I guess it could be a Polish word.
I mean, could be. His opponent in the bottom left, who has a much more legible name, he is Wingnut.
Wingnut has gone for the same pylon and a scout right after, and same story for Skrieg. So we might have a similar game.
Do you
At least
think
openers?
Do you think the reason they do this is because they're scared of being proxy gated or cannon rushed?
Possibly, yeah. Because if you look at the way, especially Skrieg, he scouted all around the minerals. That is natural. So he would have been able to see some kind of proxy, whereas Wingnut just didn't do it. So they're both gonna go for Gateway 13. Very standard here. I don't know why Wingnut walls off though. In PvP, it's really not useful at all.
Is there any type of disadvantage you can describe for people back home as to why maybe you don't see this often in the pro scene?
Walling off?
Like walling off in PvP.
You lose a lot of money. And by that I mean probably like 20 minerals.
Oh, by having the probe go that far to build it.
Yes.
But strategically
And
speaking,
also,
does it have an impact?
If you say, for example, play against Blink and your opponent does a lockdown, then he will kill your buildings from down there.
If he has high ground vision
Yeah.
with the mothership core.
You just have no interest overall. Like it can only play in your disfavor. There is no scenario where somebody's attacking and you're like, oh yes, I have a wall. Like I'm gonna defend this very well. So
You never know. One base charge lot Archon could come out.
Nate, please.
Cybernetics core is on the way for a red Protoss player. And that gateway's done. This probe.
Yeah.
People do this to me when I play PvP. I never understand it. Is there like, have you ever accidentally just ignored it and then your opponent like ran a zealot in and killed your pylon?
No. Well, it's actually, if you misplace your pylon, like if it's way like too open, like in the middle of your base, and then somebody attacks your pylon, and you didn't scout for proxies, there's probably a proxy coming, and then the zealots, yes, they're gonna kill the pylon, and you're gonna have your buildings unpowered. That's why basically every player now, they know where their buildings are gonna be built on every single map. In terms, I'm speaking Protosses here. Like we already know sort of on every map where we're gonna make the buildings depending on the matchup, and we always do the exact same one or at least something similar to it, because we figured out where it will be like nice to put the buildings. Like for example, you don't put a robo towards your ramp or in front of your base. You know, I used to have like, this joke with mana that both of us kept on doing it in tournaments, and our robos kept on getting sniped, and we just lost so many games.
That doesn't sound terribly fun. Wingnut's had this probe hidden in here, man. It's a ninja probe. He's getting a robotics facility, but I didn't say this would have actually been a pretty opportune time for the ye old Maximus Black Ninja Pylon 4-gate.
The Hawk probe, man. Any probe hidden out on the map in a corner is a Hawk probe. Hawk might not be a ninja, but goddamn can he add some pylons around the map.
3 gateway opening for our red Protoss player. He's chronoing pretty heavily into that warp gate. This is straight up 3-gate attack. I love multiple stalker openings like this. But he seems to have like a bit of Terran syndrome.
Yeah.
He actually likes building units one at a time, like out of his production facilities.
Oh man, by the way, that pylon of Wingnut is powering most of his buildings here, and he doesn't have much to defend the attack that's coming for him.
Yeah. This is a pretty interesting setup. Of course, as you guys can see, I actually like this poll we have in the bottom right. How do you improve at StarCraft 2? You can vote at rebelbattlegrounds.com. I think playing more is probably one of the best ways, man. You iron out your mistakes, but it's a combination of all of them, I think.
I think, yeah, like you can learn a lot from streams, like by watching like tournaments like this one. But the thing is, you need to focus a lot, I guess, on the strategy and stuff. So that's, I guess, also our job to kind of explain what's happening so that people can get it and use it as well on the ladder.
These Stalkers are trying to get up to this ramp. The Mothership Core is giving vision, and the Sentries taking a little bit of heat here. You really can't afford to lose that Mothership Core, though. This Zealot should get...
I think Wingnut should have enough to defend this, and if he gets a pylon across the map now and starts counterattacking...
He still has that probe in his main base. He still has that probe in the bottom right.
There is recall available for Skriok, so if he doesn't use a time warp and he's in trouble back at home, he could actually just recall. But I'm afraid that he attacks now, uses the time warp, and then cannot recall and cannot reinforce for a while back at home.
Yeah, that would make things really tricky. He's trying to come up the ramp. He gets force field, and he will lose one Stalker. I mean, the unit advantage is definitely in the Red Protoss player's favor.
That pylon, man.
Oh yeah, that's on all of his production.
He needs an additional one. An Immortal is gonna come out. More force fields go down. Can he trap more? No, he doesn't have force field.
Ah, well, Wingnut has this Immortal.
Energy.
This Immortal has a lot of firepower, a lot of potential to take some big hits on these forces, and I think what Wingnut really wants to do is get some warp-ins saved up. And I mean, if you warp in some counter-harass Zealots right after your opponent warps in Stalkers to attack you, you have a huge opportunity to really rip their economy apart.
I think Skriok has no plan to follow up with a move up the ramp. I think he's just gonna wait down there. He has a sentry ready for force field.
Oh, he's warped in 2 Zealots.
Yeah, there's still recall available.
I mean, Immortal is about to finish. He does have the recall, as you said. He can go for some probe kills.
Is he gonna recall? Oh, the Mothership Core of Wingnut just died.
Oh,
he got that sniped.
That's not good. I mean, he's still good defensively, but these Zealots are going to move in. I love the Stalker Warpins to try to block these Zealots away from that Immortal. How many total kills did they get as far as workers go?
3 walkers have been killed by Wingnut, who moved down the ramp. He's gonna try to fight against his Stalkers. He's force fielded. Oh wow, he killed a lot. Recall.
Oh man, you can recall, but those Immortals are still gonna lay waste.
He still has the pylon in the main of Skriok, so if he attacks the natural now with his entire army and warps in the main, and I should probably stop hyping that because he's not doing that. But if he had done that, man, he could have done a lot of damage. I'm surprised that Skriok does not realize still that there is a pylon in his main. Maybe he thinks those Zealots just came from somewhere out on the map and walked right into his main.
It's been a pretty long journey, but he's warping in sentries. He wants to force field the army.
2 sentries. What?
Well, I mean, this is not the standard harass that you typically see, but he wants to force field the probes so that they can't run from the Zealot. Now that is some high-level play there, Todd.
Wingnut is bringing back Entombed from the beta, man.
Oh man, these probes are stuck. The Zealot trying to get the Stalker didn't do too much, but the Sentries actually picked off a couple of the probes, which is nice. Now he finally kills the pylon, so the Sentry Zealot hit squad should get taken out, but some interesting plays from Wingnut here.
Yeah, but Skriok didn't really suffer too much economic damage. He just lost 3 more probes on that attack, so in terms of walkers, they're even right now. And from there, I just expect Skriok to just keep on chrono boosting out probes, which is exactly what he's doing. Whereas Wingnut, with the later expansion, he's cut probe production in the main for some time. He is getting a robo base, so I guess he wants to go for Colossus. If he can get a few out and like hit a good timing, he might have a chance to do well, especially since Skriok. I feel like he's kind of mindlessly getting a whole bunch of Immortals right now and not taking at all. No Forge, no Robo Bay. He's gonna get at least a double additional gas at his natural, which is definitely what you need to get in that matchup ASAP when you have an expansion. Second Robo goes down for Wingnut. And still just Immortals out of 1 Robo for Skriok here.
I actually really like Wingnut's build decision because he's going to move into so many Colossi.
Yeah. Do you know what it's called? The War of the Worlds.
Ah,
yes. Because you get all these Colossi.
That was ye old PvP from Wings of Liberty,
yes,
where every single game that somehow magically got past the 8-minute mark went into this.
Up until Rain started beating everybody in PvP and showed us that the perfect composition when you're maxed out was 10 Colossus, 10 Immortals, and the rest in Archons, if you can.
Yeah, man.
Or some Zealots, obviously, to replace.
Very
Double
expensive.
Forge for Wingnut. So he's not just on double Rubo for double Colossus production, he's also on double Forge. He's cutting pro production way too much, by the way, right now. He's falling quite far behind, 6 walkers behind. We need to make sure he keeps that up. And still no tech from Skriak.
Yeah. How many Immortals is he at?
He's about to get a 4th.
Okay. I can understand wanting to equalize the Immortal count, but he just doesn't have what he needs to actually to deal with the later tech.
You
Not
don't
that
need
Immortals
that many,
are
to be
necessarily bad versus Colossi, though.
By the way, pretty cool pylon from Skriak around the natural of Wingnuts. He could whop in some Zealots in there.
Yeah, I'd like to see a bit more harass here. The Observer kind of sees the army moving out. Wingnut, he has the tower. He
just got
knows
Thermal
what's
Lance.
coming. His first Colossus is about to finish.
Yeah, we saw already Thermal Lance. So with Force Fields here.
What if he warps in behind the Colossus?
Oh,
and then
he needs
messes
to
with the
Force Fields.
Oh boy. Okay, Wingnut. I mean, with the Immortals holding the front, he buys himself a little bit of time. That Colossus is really important because Force Fields can parse this whole army.
Even though Wingnut is behind in supply, he has 1-1 on the way. He's got 1 Colossus with Thermal Lance now. It all comes down to the Force Fields. If he hits good Force Fields and defends this well, he's gonna do good in this game. But this army looks so scary here from Skriak. He's got 59 army supply to 44. Wingnut's gonna pull back. He's gonna need the Photon Overcharge to help. There is a Zealot right now wrecking his mineral line in main.
Yeah, this is getting him a lot of return on that investment. Oh, the Colossus walks right up front, and the Immortal's able to hit it, picks it off. Even though the Force Fields did lock out a good chunk of units, there might be too many gateway forces. Oh, that was actually... Whoa!
What is happening?
That's some high-level play right there, Todd.
Those Force Fields were sick. He trapped so much of this army.
Those were actually
He's gonna get the
beautiful
sentries
force
as well.
fields.
Can he chase down? Those are oh!
Oh my goodness! Catching another Immortal. He's so close to killing it, and he gets it.
Oh, but
the
there's Zealots in
Zealots
his
still
middle
ripped
line.
his worker line apart.
25 probes have been killed by those Zealots. Those sneaky little guys.
Man, this Zealot is going ham in the mineral line. 2 more trying to run in.
The one in the main was 15 kills.
Yeah, wow. What a baller. He's been killing probes for days. Now, Wingnut's going to be able to clear him out of his base. But, you know, Skirok still has all of his economy back home. He still has, well, that's a hell of a lot of economy, Todd. 48 probes to 13. I mean, this is...
I feel, how much army does Wingnut have? He has 36 army supply to
He's got
31.
a good amount of bank.
He should
still
attack.
has his tech. Like, he
Just
could...
attack.
He could try to just build like 2 Colossi and just push.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, he has some money. And quite some gas as well, to be honest. But the thing is, if he tries to come back in a long game here, he's just so far behind in terms of economy that it's just almost impossible. How do you catch up with like 20 probes to 50? It will take forever to rebuild your worker count, and then your opponent will have translated his economic lead into a huge army supply from which it's very hard to recover. Double Forge goes down for Skriak as well. I guess he's rich. Why not?
Yeah, man. Well,
Wingnut's gonna do it. He's gonna attack.
yeah,
That's
Wingnut
it.
spent all his money. He's
This
got
is
2
all in.
Colossi about to finish.
Oh, he starts another Colossus.
So Wingnut, he's
Oh,
going
by
to
the
go
way-
push with 2 Colossi in this big gateway army, but there's still,
Yeah.
what is that, 4 Mortals?
These first 2, actually these next 2 Colossi here for Wingnut are gonna be his best chance to maybe break this army of his opponent. Skriak is getting a lot of Stalkers. This is unusual. You don't usually get that many Stalkers plus Immortals. You don't want like a huge range army. Stalkers in PvP past the 1 base, so basically on 2 bases are pretty bad unless you're all-inning, which in this case, I guess he's about to be attacked, but I don't feel that they're gonna be good in the fight. The thing is, getting the first Colossus here for Skriak is gonna be so important because he can break force fields. He doesn't have Blink, so if he doesn't get that first Colossus or if he dies somehow, then force fields will be so strong, and it will really help Wingnut in some of these fights.
I agree. Oh, he's hiding the robotics facility in
What
the
the
bottom
hell?
right. What do you make of this?
It's go time, I think. I don't think that Robo's going to be relevant. It's all about that attack.
Well, he's got his
gonna
first
force field,
Colossus out, not doing too much. Of course, Wingnut does have extended thermal lance already to give those Colossi range. He's moving forward now on top of this army. The force field's looking
Oh, the
pretty
Colossus.
good. He's got him clumped up.
He's going to get the Colossus. But is there enough left? I don't think so.
Yeah, Photon Overcharge Nexus is going to soak up some damage too. It's quite a bit. He's picked off all but 1 Immortal of Skirog, but with the Zealot Warp Ins in the back, he's picked off everything else, and Wingnut's army has been defeated. Skirog's just going to continue to chase out. He's got way too many gateway units for Wingnut to fight, and he still has whatever's going to come out of that proxy robotics facility.
That guy was lost.
That poor guy. He
Actually
didn't
start
get
the
the
warp
memo.
prism across the map. Why not?
Maybe. That's, I mean, hey, that's... You know, you build a proxy pylon so that you can have...
Gets the Nexus
warp
down there.
prism.
Why not, man?
Why not? I'm just waiting for the Stargate and the Fleet Bacon. Oh, that stalker died a horrible, painful death.
Did you just say the Fleet Bacon?
I don't know what you're talking about, Yon. I mean, Wingnut's done a pretty reasonable job this game of trying to rebuild his economy, but man, if he could have taken that fight earlier on without losing the probes, this game is completely different.
Yeah.
Skyrdug's getting that warp prism ready. It's done, but he's ready to attack, and honestly, there's not a whole lot of gateway units here to stop him.
I thought for a second he might not attack and just do a drop and like take his
Wingnut's
sweet
just
time.
finished 2 more Colossi, but he has, you know, he has nothing to support them. He's lost his whole gateway army in the natural, and GG is called. Skyrdug will take the 2-0 victory, and man, that series, that looked so close in that second game. I really felt like if that pylon wasn't there behind the natural expansion of Wingnut, man, that was, he had such a good tech setup, the upgrade setup, a really impressive play, I have to say.
Yeah, he kind of felt like he was outclassing his opponent pretty well, but Wingnuts then put up a pretty good fight with those force fields at the ramp, went for the counter attack. I was really skeptical about the fact he might go for it or not. He went for it, and I still think it was the right move. Maybe he waited a little bit too long. It's just a difficult situation. Once these Zealots basically crush his mirror line and kill like over 25 probes, it's just so hard to recover from there. You have to go all in. That's basically the only choice you can make.
Yeah.
Nothing else really works.
It was just a shame because he had, as you said, such a good engagement in that in that fight at his natural expansion. I mean, Wingnut's force fields were, honestly, that's about as good as you could ask any player to make force fields
was
on.
here for a second and playing.
Hey
itself.
man, if you're trying to lock in a retreating opponent out there, there's not much better you're gonna get than a force field donut on the ramp when they can't shoot up. That was pretty damn good. So good effort by Wingnut. Congratulations to Skyrdug as he is going to continue moving on and battling it out here in the Red Bull Battlegrounds Detroit. We're gonna take a short commercial break and then we'll be back with the next series. Stay tuned.